Hey there, welcome to Izzo's place. So it's barrel time. So I have 4 bottles in here, and of course, you know, I never quite prepare enough in advance. Should have had the bottles out so I could show you. But I'm a silly, silly boy. So first I aged a apple brandy whiskey that I didn't really enjoy, and a bunch of other random stuff went into there, and we called it Apple Madness. So once that was bottled, I took 4 other whiskeys, kind of inexpensive whiskeys, and we poured it into here to see what would happen. So what we have in here is we have almost a full bottle of this America bourbon whiskey. I bought it for the name, and it didn't taste great. We also stuck in this. This is a local distillery, Lake Erie bourbon whiskey. I've had some stuff from them that I've enjoyed, but this bottle was just kind of young and boring, so that went in there. Then we went ahead and stuck in a Old Tub, unfiltered. What else? Is this bottled in bond? I can't remember. Where are we at? Give me the alcohol by volume. Yep, bottled in bond, so 100 proof there. Just you know, bottom shelf stuff. And then we tossed in this Ancient Age. Now this isn't the Ancient Age Sour Mash, which just has a taste that I really don't like. I almost want to pour out the Ancient Age Sour Mash, but that's just me. I'm sure there's people that like it. But supposedly this is the same mash bill as Blanton's. So we stuck all 4 of those in the barrel. It's been a year, because they say like 80 days in a 3-liter barrel like this is the equivalent of 1 year in a 53-gallon traditional barrel. So it's been a year. Let's see how they taste. And as usual, forgot that I need to pull out the plug. There we go, that's a little better. Now there hasn't been much sipped from this, so we have, let me check these. Are these all 750 milliliter? Where are we at? Give me a size. Come on, guys. Oh, so we got 1 liter in there of the Ancient Age. This is a 750 mil. 750 mil. And, come on, guys. Put your labels where I can see them. 750 milliliter. All right, so we have 3 750, so that's 2 1/4 plus 1 liter. So we should be at 3 1/4. That means this is technically a 3-gallon barrel, or a 3-liter barrel. So evidently we drank just enough of that where we had the 3 liters worth of the alcohol afterwards. Where are these from? Let's talk about where they're from. So the Ancient Age, no, so I'm sorry, this is just the Ancient Age. Carefully distilled along the banks of the Kentucky River according to the finest old traditions. It's bottled by Ancient Age Distilling Company in Frankfort, Kentucky, but from what I hear, this is owned by Buffalo Trace, or rather Sazerac. America Bourbon Whiskey Original. America's finest bourbon. I guess anyone can say that, because to someone, this is the finest bourbon they've ever had. Whiskey made with pure American grains. Nice. 90 proof. Where is it made in? Produced and bottled by famous brands, Galveston, Texas. Interesting. Okay, so we've got Kentucky, we've got Texas. All right, and then Lake Erie. This one's close by. This is 90 proof. Made from corn and barley grains. They're calling it a bourbon, so it's got to be made in new oak casks. Cool. And then finally, Old Tub. Let's see where Old Tub's from. Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. So we're back. Oh, it's by Jim Beam. So Claremont, Kentucky. All right, cool. So that's what's in this concoction. So I don't know how the Ancient Age compares to a regular Buffalo Trace or Blanton's. So I'm expecting a little bit of sweet from this. This is like a young craft whiskey, so I'm not expecting a ton from that. The America, from American grains. Do they tell us what grains? Just the finest American grains. Just says American grains. And then Old Tub, do we got anything special here? It does say sour mash, but sour mash isn't really supposed to mean sour. It's supposed to just mean that they use some of the last distilling in with the new distilling to try to keep a flavor profile going. That's a very simplistic explanation of sour mash. So it shouldn't be sour. So let's see what's happened after it's been aged in this silly thing. And then remember, before it had these 4 in it, it had an apple brandy barrel, it had a rye, it had a bunch of 1 ounces of a bunch of stuff from my collection. Alright, so what do we got on the nose after a year? It's very... Despite being in this barrel, it's kind of young smelling. Very grainy smelling. I smell what I think is barley. Quite a bit. Alright, I'm getting a little bit of sweetness now as I go delve into this a little more. But yeah, I would say I'm smelling the barley from one of these. One of these said barley. I don't remember which one. Barley. Our Lake Erie distillery had some barley in it. The other ones could have also had barley, but they don't tell me. So I'm getting barley, I'm getting some sweetness. But it smells young, even after being in there. The sweetness is like a... It's like a cherry sweet tart. So that's kind of neat. So let's go see what we get on the palate. So, leans more towards baking spices, but there's a hint of like grape popsicle in there, which I think might be from the Ancient Age. So let's get back in there for another taste and another smell, because no one relies on their first taste and smell. Gotta get in there and see what the whiskey's telling you. And sometimes it's a longer conversation than other times. Alright, now on the nose, I think because I tasted it. So I still get the grape strawberry, or excuse me, the grape, cherry sweet tart. But now there's like a grape sweet tart with it. Still kind of grainy, still kind of young smelling. But not unsatisfying. Yeah, it's way better than any of the individual ones were. So combined, they're good. Also, they've been in this barrel, and also there was other whiskeys in this barrel beforehand. So I'm really not disappointed with this second experiment with the barrel. So going in for third snifter, third taste. Still a little grainy. Getting the barley. It's not like a wheat field like I get when I'm tasting an Irish whiskey. And these are all American whiskeys and sometimes bourbon, so it's not surprising. So tiny bit of cherry, tiny bit of grape, but it's like fake, like a sweet tart. Man, now I want sweet tarts. Nothing's open. Maybe tomorrow I'll get some sweet tarts. It's definitely better, more complex. They're more than the sum of their parts, I believe. So this is kind of fun. So back and forth between Florida and Ohio. I did a Texas job. I might have to drive to Kentucky to do some work. So let's see what another 80 days would be. And we'll try this again. All right. So it was the 6th. We're actually a week past 80 days. So 80 days is what? So 11 weeks would be 77 days. So 11 weeks, 3 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, so 11 plus 3 days, boom, boom, boom. So we're going to do this again on June 25th. So I'm going to put what 80 days would have been. We're a week late. Excuse me. So 4 would have been the 6th. 4, 6, 24. And we're going to try it again. I'm going to go ahead and mark it now. We're going to try it again on... Was it June 25th? Let's count it again. Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 3 days. Yes, June 25th. It's a Tuesday. 6, 25, 24. All right, so that's the next day we're going to check on this. And here's what's going to happen. I'm interested in learning how to make barrels. So what I'm going to do with this little 3-gallon boy is after we put this in the bottles, and that might happen on the 25th, we might taste it. I might taste it, and we might let it go another year. But whenever we decide to bottle this, I'm then going to take this apart and measure all these oak staves and figure out what I need to cut and shape in order to build my own. So after we bottle this barrel's coming apart. I'm going to reuse these bands. I'm going to cut my own fresh oak staves and tops and bottoms. I may even try to figure out how to make the spout. But after we bottle what's in here now, we're going to take this apart and make an Izzo barrel, and then we'll see what we decide to do with it after that. Also, I will, for the Florida project, I will buy a 2-liter. I'll buy a 2-liter. I'm going to buy a 2-liter barrel on Amazon, and I'm going to put 2 liters of Woodford Reserve Double Oak in it, because I can't imagine myself finding a double oak anywhere, and it's probably expensive, so I'm just going to make my own. So we'll pour 2 liters of Woodford Reserve Double Oak into one of these barrels, and we're going to age it for a year and see how it tastes. All right, well, thanks for joining me for 15 minutes on the baby barrel experiment. And it's very neat. If you decide, I mean, these are on Amazon, they're so easy to order. If you decide to experiment with your own, so what other things can you do with this? You could actually, instead of just putting whiskeys in there, you could actually put cocktails in there. Sometimes people put the ingredients for an old-fashioned in there. Sometimes people put ingredients for a Manhattan in there. Really, any cocktail that you want, put it in there, barrel age it, gives it a little extra flavor. So if you're doing any barrel experiments like I am, please put it in the comments. Let me know what you're doing. Maybe we'll mimic you and do some fantastic cocktails or whiskey aging, I mean, whatever it is. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time you're hanging out at Izzo's place. Oh wait, let's do the thing. If you're working, work safely. If you're drinking, drink responsibly. But do everything with a little bit of whimsy, and you're gonna have a good time. I'll see you next time you're hanging out at Izzo's place. Show. No one watches this stuff. All right, so real talk. I'm not afraid of pouring stuff back in. It's alcohol. Granted, it's not the same alcohol levels that like a hand sanitizer has, but it's alcohol. Oops, shoot. Sorry, I'm like talking to the camera, not paying attention to the pouring. I'm not gonna drink all this because I don't want to be messed up for the drive home. So anyone that visits, that sips from the barrel. Any slight backwash that could be in there gets taken up by the alcohol. So if that bothers you, I'm sorry, but also if you're watching this, you're on the internet, you might not live near here, and so you're not going to worry about what Izzo's doing. But just a little thing, infinity bottles are fun. Some people are going to be funny about it, but I'll tell you what, infinity bottles, and so far this infinity barrel has been a fun experiment. And the bottles are super tasty, and the barrels have been very interesting. And that's all I got from you. All right, I'll talk to you later.